These facts are necessary for us to situate some certain issues, put them in the proper perspective, because it is assumed that when lies or a lie is constantly told, unrefuted, unchallenged, it wears the toga of truth. We have waited. It has been raging since the past 2 months, May. We are in June now, heading to July. So the palace has found it necessary.
Members of the public have been called upon to disregard the widely circulated reports of alleged land grabbing against the Owa Royal Palace in Ikanofi's local government area of Delta State, saying the report is false and maliciously intended. The call is coming on the heels of a lingering issue of alleged land grabbing in Owoibo, leveled against the Owa Royal Palace by a group under the auspices of Ahamihu Oyibo, allegedly headed by one Mr. Benson Nkeki. Setting the record straight, in a briefing with journalists on Tuesday, June 17, 2025, the second son of the Obi of Owa, Prince Victor Efizomo, refuted the allegation and accusation of land grabbing, noting that Obi Efizomo II, the Obi of Owa, as the overlord and custodian of the Owa tradition, reserved the right and traditional authority to reserve and allocate land in Owa for the purpose of development in the kingdom, while stating that the assertion had been validated from time immemorial. Prince Efizomo said such land reservation and allocation resulted in the spring up of developmental institutions such as the University of Delta Owa-Alero and Owoibo campus, the Federal Safety Staff School in Owa-Alero, the Odogu Housing Estate, Owoibo, Federal Housing Estate, Owoibo, Delta State Independent Electoral Commission DSEC, Owoibo, Nigerian Immigration Office, Owoibo, Directorate of State Security Office, Railway Village, Julius Berger Site, Delta State High Court, Owoibo Division, and other major markets across Owa.
These are developments that His Royal Majesty felt it necessary that there is need to reserve land. And when the need came for the utilization of these developmental projects, His Majesty did not find it difficult to allocate some of this land for the purpose of development. For the avoidance of doubt, the Obi of Owa is vested with the traditional authority and competence to approve any transaction pertaining to the alienation of any piece or parcel of land in Owa Oyo. The above assertion has been judicially validated at all levels from time immemorial.
Reading a statement from the palace, Prince Efizomo said the Obi of Owa, by virtue of his position, also reserved the right to approve all lands purchased from private individuals for development purposes, as it was part of efforts to verify land purchases and protect land developers from unsuspecting miscreants. He said land has become a thriving business in Owoibo following recent infrastructure investments by government. Hence, the unintelligent youths used by some politicians during elections have, out of hunger and lack of what to do, delved into indiscriminate sale of lands, including allotted cemetery, which prompted the palace to take necessary action.
These are young men, jobless young men, people who politicians have used. Now politics has rested temporarily. There is no more job. There is no more election, is not forthcoming in the near future, except in 2 years' time. So you can see the desperation, the hunger in the land. What will they do? Our community is experiencing rapid development as a result of the schools Okowa brought there in both communities, Agbo and Owa. So these youths have decided to be selling lands indiscriminately, to the extent that they want to start selling portions of the cemetery. That alarmed the palace. Then the Obiofowa said, no, rather than do this, let us streamline the process. He called a meeting of the elders. Rather than allow these people desecrate the cemetery, he now said, okay, let us fence it off to stop further encroachment. These youth were already encroaching on the place and selling the land. They went haywire. They said no, that the Obi has no right to do what he's doing. A minute group, people that are not intelligent enough to understand the developmental principles of community, because they are disturbed over some of the policies that the palace has put in place, they have become laws unto themselves. In our land, what they do is that if you purchase a parcel of land, His Majesty, being the overlord of the community, has said, come to me and do your registration so that we will know whether the land you have purchased is legal or illegal, is in the right place, or whether you have stolen the land. Those are measures to verify the purchase of land. So he endorses.
The statement said the unregistered group, made up of faceless youths, have as a result resorted to spreading falsehood among the people of our community, causing disaffection among indigents in the diaspora who do not have full grasp of the situation on ground, harassing and intimidating the elders of the community and the Obi of Owa to the extent of demanding the sack of the Owa Royal Palace legal advisor, security head, among other demands.
That the group have constituted a nuisance in the community to the extent of demanding the sack of our Royal Palace legal advisor and our palace security head, among others. Those were their demands. I've never seen a situation where you have your lawyer, an individual will come, your legal representative, group of persons will come, they say, no, this your lawyer is working too much. He is asserting himself too much. Sack him.
According to the statement, the said group constituted a task force that invaded individual landed properties to collect and extort illegal fees, popularly called deve, from land developers, which is against the laws of Delta State, and had continued to issue threats to individuals who failed to cooperate with them, spreading fear and tension in the peaceful community. The Owa Palace maintained that the allegation of land grabbing against the Obi of Owa is not only false, but a calculated attempt to reduce his estimation before the eyes of the public, stating that some of the issues being alleged by the Ahamihu Oyibo are currently pending before the courts of competent jurisdiction, while the Nigerian police had also commenced investigation.
The Ahamihu Oyibo is not registered in the first place, and one of, in fact, the self-acclaimed leader of Ahamihu Oyibo is Benson Nkeki. His name is Benson Nkeki. He's the one that the palace lawyer has gone to court to challenge for him to prove the allegation of land grabbing, and he's demanding 1 billion as damages for defamation.
The palace reiterated its commitment to upholding the principles of justice, equity, fairness, and the rule of law in its local administration of the community, saying that it was open to constructive and intelligent conversation if the group felt aggrieved by any perceived infraction. Speaking on the foundations of the Owa Kingdom, Prince Efizamo said, Owa, a federation of clans under a central monarchy, had had kings before the current Obi, who is the 17th Obi of Owa, noting that the Fizamo II is a man of proven character and integrity, well-read and highly spoken of by high-ranking members of society, having served as the chairman of the Delta State Traditional Rulers Council for 13 years, warning that the palace would not sit back and allow anyone tarnish the image of its revered Obi.
Also, that the allegation of illegal grabbing by the Obi of Owa is not only false, but a calculated attempt to reduce the estimation of the Obi of Owa before the eyes of the public. In view of the above, the palace of the Obi of Owa shall commence civil, criminal, and traditional actions against the culprits of these libelous publications within and outside Nigeria. The public is advised to disregard the said publication. We are not crossing swords with anybody, with any group. If this group are saying the Obi of Owa, his children, the lawyer, and whatever group they are lumping them together has committed any infraction in the community, they should follow due process. You have the court of law. Go there and ventilate your anger. If that is not enough for you, there are also mediatory means. They have threatened the community. They are threatening the elders. Now the matter is in court. They are shopping for evidence. We are calling upon them to be very, very careful. Because if the Obi of Owa, as the traditional head of Owa, invokes the spirit of his ancestors in anger on these people, something else will happen. I pity the youths that are engaging in these unholy acts, because they are playing with fire.
Eunice Emeyazia reporting.